Questions. We have tons of them. What if some of those questions can be answered with a simple email? Now is that time, and welcome to Chat with Charlie. Host Stephanie Lynn is a certified spiritual life coach and psychic medium. She will work together with Spirit to answer both your submitted and live questions. Not only will Stephanie be providing you with insight, but also interviews with amazing guests. Now, your host of Chat with Charlie, Stephanie Lynn.
Good morning, everybody. You are tuning into Chat with Charlie on WLTK-DB Let's Talk Radio. I'm so excited to be back. I know I missed you guys last week. I was not airing a live show, but today it's going to be fantastic. I am really excited about the guests that we have backstage. As a lot of you know, the reason that I come on this platform, the reason that I'm here is because I want to offer a resource. I came into the metaphysical, came into understanding my abilities without a lot of resources. And I don't want that for any of the viewers or for anybody who's kind of like, hey, feeling things out, looking to understand spirituality or any scope of it from one end to the other. And today we have an amazing psychic medium, but she is also the owner of The Edge, which is a metaphysical magazine. It's a fantastic resource. So please help me welcome Kelly Wagner to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, I am so thrilled to have you too. And I was just talking to Todd backstage before you had come on, and I said I was so nervous, that day when you had called me and we were talking about some things. Like I was having technical problems. I was like, it was such a mess. And I'm like, but you're just, I love your energy. And I was like, I just felt like we clicked. So I was so excited when you agreed to be here and to just bring you to this platform and to let the viewers see you.
Yeah. Bring it on. And I love how you introduced, brought me in, because as I was going through my exploration as well, because, you start seeing things, or
right.
know the song on the radio, or a spirit comes to you at night, and
absolutely,
you have your imaginary friends, and then your parents think you're that's crazy.
It's
you
right.
Don't tell anybody, right?
Yeah.
So to have a resource where we're mystical people, we're outside of the norm,
but
still having the human experience, right? Because we've still got to be we've still got to pay the bills and put gas in our car and eat and all that stuff. Oh, it's so overrated, right? Women decide to levitate all day, right? But to be able to have this community of people that come together and I see you and
right,
I feel you, and come here, let's hang out, and then let's do this together. Totally fun.
No, and I love how you say that, because to me that is the biggest part, is with my abilities, I kept myself very sheltered. And like you said, to just be seen, to have somebody that can recognize that part in you and just see you and mesh with you and support you there, it's huge.
Right. Well, I was always the one. So I was in corporate America, VP of marketing, Miss Little EA. Right. And I always had the office that had that dim lighting, and I had the essential oils going, and I had crystals everywhere, and everyone would just come in and they'd be like, I don't know why, but I just want to be in here.
Right.
And then they tell you their life story, and I'm like, I need to work. I should have just been in every office. I always had a comfy little office chair where people could just come in and they didn't know why, but they loved the energy, and we can talk about energy.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a huge pull. And I was kind of the same way, when I was working in that world more, same thing, the dim lighting, I had my crystals, I had my, and people would just end up coming in my office and standing and talking. And, you kind of become that energetic counselor.
Mm-hmm. Because you hold safe space. I even had a boss that he put me next to his office so I could, right? And so he was the president of the company. So I was next to him. And anytime he had a hard meeting, he'd always just walk over and hang out, right? He did that. But then after I left the company, I actually had people say I would look on his calendar to get on afterwards after they knew that he was with me, because then he was in a good mood.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome.
And I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't you guys use me like that?
Right. Yeah. Right? But they got to do what works for them too.
I was like, I was glad I could help.
Right. Before we keep going with our conversation, I do want you to tell the viewers about you, more about you, how you came into your abilities, how you work with them, and how you got to the edge.
Oh, fantastic. That's a really fun one. By the way, the new edge just hit the streets yesterday. Isn't that gorgeous?
It is gorgeous.
I'm in love with it. And we're expanding all over, so I'm really excited. Okay, edgemagazine.net. That's how you find us online. You can subscribe to the magazine. We put new content up almost every day. We also have interviews and emails and a directory. So we have this vibrant directory, and as you shared before, of resources.
Yes.
And we have functional medicine doctors and acupuncturists and chiros and psychics and cell healers, and so we put everybody together. They're not in different sections where psychics are over in that corner and pagans are over here. No, we're creating we're in this beautiful sandbox together. I've always been this girl. This is how I roll. And I just started to come into my gifts and abilities about 18 years ago, and started to go to training. The first time I went to my mentor, shout out to Maureen Higgins at Wings of Freedom. And I went to her. I said, I just want to speak to my dead grandma, and that's it. I'm done. I don't want to do that. And she opened Pandora's box. And
isn't that interesting how that happens? Like, I had the same kind of thing. Like, I knew I had abilities and hiding from them. And at the time, we were living in a house that was more active than not. And I just kind of ignored everything. But my cousin came over, and same thing. She blew my window shades off my nice house that I was trying to keep all the light out of. Right. So I love that. I'm not the only one that's happened to. Yeah.
Right. And so I'm really, really sensitive. And then I went through, I worked for my dad for 17 years, and it was his dream, not mine. And I started to get a rash.
Oh, yeah.
We all know why. We all our skin was just going like, hello. So I started working with functional medicine doctors. I got into yoga. If that is not the gateway to opening people up, I don't know what is. I mean, it's beautiful.
It is.
Chanting and great. So I just started to explore all these little different. I had a massage, and then someone said, have you ever heard of Reiki?
Right. I call Reiki like the gateway energy drug. Because so many people are like, I don't have abilities, but I'm going to figure out Reiki. And then the next thing you know, they're like, hey, did you know I'm a medium? I'm like, yeah, I did.
I'll even go to people when I'm working on them, and they're laying on the table. And I mean, even if you're not breathing, right? You can't go by a person and go like this over their body and not feel something.
Right.
Start with that.
Yeah.
So I started to have Reiki, and then I had Thai massages, and then I was like, I'd like to learn how to do this. And it just was this snowball of just love, and people just showed up, and modalities showed up, and I was curious.
Yeah.
That's seriously what I did. I'm like, tell me more. Ooh, I don't, and there's different modalities that I took a class, and I was like, well, that's not me. Okay, I'll do something else.
Right. Yeah. And I had heard, before they say, and it's a pretty big, I think, saying within the community is, when you're ready, the teacher or the opportunity shows up, and you just all of a sudden mesh with somebody. You don't know why, you don't know what it's going to lead to, but it's spirit bringing in that support system for you.
Absolutely. Well, it's like when I met my husband, we went to high school together, but I was dating someone, he was dating someone. We came together like our second year of college, and I remember him calling me, and I was like, oh my gosh, hello, old friend. And we've been together ever since. Well, now I get it.
Right.
And I've been told that we've traveled so many times together that we've dealt with all the different things that other couples get to deal with. And we've been together forever. So it's just,
that's awesome.
It's how you just put all that stuff together. But then how we choose this life, how we choose to come in. And that's something that I'm working with people. So I chose my parents. My parents, and they did the best they could. My dad did some things he probably shouldn't have done. And then you deal with it. But then as we know we know that there's a generational, and that abused people,
Yes.
and then there's
Absolutely.
this generational, and that we are here. I truly believe in this generation where we are now. We are here with machetes. I keep seeing machetes.
I agree.
Clients,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I'm getting
And we're like,
goosebumps. Absolutely.
bam! Like
That's
we're like
enough. Yeah.
chopping it, done.
Right.
And I realized I did that, and I've had many. I grew up in a family that men were very, that's what you describe as like Donald Trump. And I'm not saying that bad or good. I'm just saying that energy, right? There's an
Right.
energy of
Right.
Mr.
A little pompous, a
Mr.
little arrogant.
Right. So all the men in my life were like that. So when he became president, I was like, well, isn't that how men are? Like,
Right.
ooh, right? But I have compassion for those people in those situations. And because I'm a strong woman, I have generations on my mother's and father's side going back at least 14 that are just always like applauding me for doing what I'm doing, because
Right.
I'm like, no, this is
Yeah.
this is the divine feminine and patriarchy, and masculine and feminine need to play in the sandbox together. It shouldn't just be all about this or this or this.
Oh, absolutely.
We need to hold space for each other. I'm really into my hands today. This is really fun.
It's fine. I usually talk with my hands too. Right. No, I like that too, because when I went into college, I went into a very male dominated area of study with criminal justice, but it was the same thing. It was about breaking barriers, breaking expectations, and being able to be powerful within who I was, not necessarily within a gender role.
Who's your guide over your right shoulder?
I don't know if it's my guide, but my room feels very busy today. Yeah, like everybody's like, really, hey, I want to talk to Kelly. And I'm like,
woo, we got to talk about, like, I'm just like,
I know, I'm ignoring them all, but I can feel them.
I was not going to say anything, because I was like, I'll be normal. And I was like, wait a sec, I can do this on this show.
You don't have to be normal here. This is normal here, Kelly.
Oh, I love it. Okay, I'm sorry. We'll go back to more questions. So that's how I got here. So the Edge was up for sale. I was a VP of marketing in the dairy industry, not liking it at all.
Wow.
My boss was just like, I couldn't find the
from
words.
dairy to like metaphysical.
Right?
That's crazy.
I worked at promotions and events at Best Buy. I worked for my dad in healthcare for 17 years, industrial bagging, and dairy.
Wow.
And I think the audience can see in the 12 minutes we've been on that I don't have a hard time with words. Right. I couldn't find the words in these industries. I couldn't market them. Yeah. And I felt horrible. And then the Edge was up for sale. We contacted the owners. I went to my mentor. I also went in a source that I'd love to share with this community is Kelly Thebo. KELLYTHEBO.com. She channels the collective. I had an appointment with her that I'd set 9 months prior to this turning point with my boss. So I asked him, can I go work at home? I went and had a session with her, and she was just like, the collective was like, this was meant to be. This was going to happen. If you go find another job, it's going to meander back to this. Then the Edge came up. I talked to my mentor. We actually channeled the owner that was deceased, brought him in. I mean, talk about buying a business. And then we just worked with the owner, and I was driven to go back in print. Everyone doesn't want to go back in print. Hi, Kelly.
Right.
And I was like, we're going back to print, and we're gonna have nice paper. I want to go back to print. And it's every other month, and we run out after 3 weeks because people just love it.
Well, and I love it. And talk about that, how you came into that and that divine intervention, I guess. Because for me, I had reached out to the Edge probably a good year and a half ago, and before you were in place or during the changes. And I was so shocked, like all of a sudden I get a message from you and I'm like, man, like I even forgot that I reached out. But talk about spirit putting roles and people in places when they need to be. Right. It's just amazing. And like you said, and I look back at my life and the things that I've been through and the jobs I've had, and I know who that person is, but I'm not that person anymore. It's like, like a book that you put on the shelf.
I almost look at it like it's a relay team. Like we have souls that are, so our pomegranate, I'm a seed of the pomegranate that came down like, hi, I'm Kelly. Right. But I also believe that we have soul aspects of our souls that will come in, and it's almost like a relay team. So if you think about it.
That's a good idea.
Right? That aspect took the baton and went, okay, you got to come in. And whoever starts the relay race is not the one that is the strong one in the middle or the finisher. And I mean, I was like,
I love that.
I didn't do it eloquently, but I think you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's a great, I do. I love that analogy because you're right. And there's things that I miss about things I did in the past. But when I look at it and, okay, why do I miss it? But the person I am now doesn't really want to be part of it. So it's like grieving and shedding those things too.
Right. It's like, it just doesn't resonate with you anymore.
Right. Exactly.
But then you go into, should I miss it? Should I not?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right. Okay. So that's what I've been doing.
Right. Yeah. And just kind of being with it in the moment. So back to a little bit about the edge. What kind of resources? I know we kind of broadly went over the resources that it provides, but in fact, I was just on there today and I have this thing lately about the Pleiadians. I can't say it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
and there's a great article on there. So I was kind of reading through that a little bit this morning. But there's so many resources. So what can people, and like you said, it's not just pagan, or it's not just spiritualist. It's a broad mixing bowl of topics.
Absolutely. We just found out that we have 7,000 pages that are not indexed in Google. Like,
wow.
I know. I was like, well, I guess we should probably get those indexed.
That's crazy.
Right? I know. I was like, okay. I was like, cool. Okay. So I would say the best way to describe is that we're exploring higher consciousness and exploring modalities through actions, activities, and modalities is the best way to describe that mainstream either doesn't understand or doesn't acknowledge.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So in this issue, we have a gentleman by the name of Sean Blodgett, who is extremely into functional medicine and the alternative therapies.
Okay.
And he wrote an article about the uses of borax.
Really?
That you can bathe in it, you can drink it. There's all these different things, and then how it can benefit. Okay.
Interesting.
We have a supplement column because during my my exploration of the craziness of my world, I like to take supplements. Because our earth isn't giving us what we used to get. The water isn't giving it. So we need to supplement. But I don't want people just to go to a grocery store and buy vitamin D because they're told. So what we're doing is going through our experts and our functional medicine doctors and recommending, okay, if you're going to go invest, here are some brands to invest in.
I like that. Yeah.
We have a crystal column of a crystal of the month with the crystal chicks. Yeah. And we'll talk about citrine or organite. Actually, organite's going to be in another one. So,
I love it.
Okay, organite. Okay, great. What are the properties? What are the healing benefits? How can you get it? How to know real from fake?
Well, and I know not to jump in, but Danny, Loose More Soul and Synergy, Danny and Terry, he said the edge helps our business. I do too. I do. Says the edge helps our business so much. Yeah.
Right. Well, but then. So I get people that, this is so funny, and the previous owners told me about this and I didn't believe them. You know, when someone's trying to sell you a business, you think they gloss it over. They actually say that people grab their edge and they will flip it over and start at the back, and they will start reading from the back, and they'll go page by page. And I was like, what? That's crazy. But then a couple people actually told me, I when the edge comes in, I grab my tea or my coffee and I just go in and I drink it up. And I'm like, okay. So like this month we went up our font size because I need readers now. And I'm like, well, I need to be able to read this. Like,
it's right.
Like, oh my gosh. But it's just, and then we're also, as you can see, books, all of these books I've received in the last year and a half.
Wow.
So we're working with publishers like Beyond Words and Llewellyn, who are in this arena, and we're shining light on their authors and their tarot card readers and oracle cards. And then what we also have done, and it's not on this cover because this is by Holly Stone and it's original art.
It is beautiful.
It's, oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. Like I saw it and I gasped. I was like, oh. We'll actually take, like one of our issues over there was from Constantine Bach, whose dad studied under Salvador Dali, and he came to us through an oracle card deck. And we just reached out to him and said, would you like to be on our cover? And then we have different artists that are reaching out to us all the time. And if they're aligned with what we're talking about, we're shining a light and we're putting them on our cover.
Yeah, that's awesome. It is. And it's a fun resource.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you have metaphysical resources, and then you have ones that really bring in the authenticity of the energy, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And I just, you know, I feel that when I'm reading articles by your contributors, when I'm looking on stuff. And so that's why to me, it was very important, because I know, you know, within this platform and the viewers, we have people who are just kind of curious, or, you know, they're wanting to learn, like, about the supplements or about other things, or there's people who are looking going, I don't understand my abilities. Where can I find these resources?
Absolutely.
And it's not a pinpointed area. It's so broad that it just offers so much.
Well, and it's like, so my job, I really feel, is to be or actually my shirt says live curiously. I'm like, oh, I'm all about curious. Like, that's, if you look at everything through a curious lens,
yes,
people will open doors for you. And that's what, for your listeners and for your viewers and for everybody around listening to this today, be curious and do it authentically and be present. Be present in your curiosity.
That's huge. Being present is huge.
It's like, it's super important. So I can go to somebody where I might not know about the water that they're having. Oh,
right.
Okay. And I might be like, tell me more about that water. Right. And people will be like, da, or tell me about this, or tell me about that. And the different teachers that we have in our directory. I didn't know sound healing was a thing 2 years ago.
Right.
I loved it, but I didn't realize that you can actually do healing through sound.
Right.
So I was like, oh, let's go. So Carolyn Vinna at Gateways to Brilliance, I sat there and I laid on her table and she started playing her singing bowls, and I like started to levitate, and I'm like, this is a thing. This is amazing. Right.
It is weird. Like, what, same thing, you know, for me, it's like, okay, a psychic medium. And then you meet other people and you think, oh, we're all going to be in this bubble together, but you're not.
We can be in the bubble together and honor each other, but some people like this, some people like that. And that's why when I also when I sorry, I went in 10 different directions all at the same time. I want people, as they are being curious, to explore in a safe space and to trust your gut. Right. So if you are at, I know a lot of people when they go to these holistic health and wellness fairs, like Terry has, like Rooted. I'm actually speaking this weekend at Rooted Holistic Health in Eau Claire. Right? Oh, get this. So I'm using my intuition. I'm working with a breathwork shaman, and we're infusing the experience with essential oils.
Wow.
So we're going to get everyone breathing, everyone relaxed. And, you know, when you're relaxed, and we're creating that safe space, playing my singing bowl, opening it up, and then having the beautiful essential oils. And then I'm just going to start reading people.
That's crazy. So you're going to be in Eau Claire?
I'm going to be in Eau Claire this Saturday.
Awesome. Where at? Tell everybody where.
Oh gosh, it's at the Eau Claire campus, the University of Eau Claire campus. Okay. I'm so terrible. Go to rootedholistichealth.com. And again, it's, I think, 10 to 5. I should have been prepped. Wait a sec. They advertised at the Edge.
They advertise in the Edge.
Yeah, it's great. It's going to be. I love it. And then they're going to have, I think, 25 to 30 vendors. And it's a great way for people to come out and experience healings and readers and tarot and to
network.
It's a network. It's a great, I love going there and I just sample. I'm like, let's try this. And I don't know how you feel about this, but when I'm with other people like yourself, that we are open to our gifts and abilities, it's like we amplify each other.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's so much fun.
It is. And you can feel like the energy is palpable. Like when you, like you said, are with that group where you're just clicking, it's almost like your body vibrates.
It does. And it's like the channels open up. And that's why we were so excited about doing this breath work and intuition, because the people are just going to start. You wouldn't believe Terry Peterson is this breathwork shaman, and so I played saxophone for 15 years. Okay. So if I played saxophone for 15 years, I should be able to breathe, right? Right. She looks at me and she's like, you're breathing backwards. And I'm like, what?
What? You can breathe backwards?
You can breathe backwards and you can breathe wrong. I'm like, okay. So everyone thinks they take breath work for granted.
Yeah.
she opens you up like no tomorrow. It's
and
fine.
What is her name again?
Terry Peterson with the Connecting Spirit. She's in the Edge, you guys. This is so much fun.
Guys, look at everything she's telling us. Just go on and subscribe to the magazine right now.
We're gonna go to people.
Right? Please. We're gonna go to a quick break. While we're on the break, subscribe to the Edge and then come back in a minute and we'll be right back with you.
Looking for a holistic solution? Look no further than LimestreetWellness.com. Lime Street Wellness is a full-service Reiki therapy center offering in-person and distant Reiki sessions. Additionally, Lime Street Wellness is committed to helping clients co-create healthier outcomes with hypnosis, QHHT, and intuitive advice. Lime Street Wellness is committed to helping all that are seeking to co-create better health, peace of mind, and greater freedom. Reiki Master Kevin Mackey uses energy medicine, hypnosis, mindfulness, and intuitive guidance to assist in uncovering, understanding, and removing any blocks or energy cords or mental mindsets that may be intruding and causing needless suffering. Visit Lime Street Wellness today at LimestreetWellness.com. That's LimestreetWellness.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. You are listening or watching Chat with Charlie on WLTK-DB Let's Talk Radio. If you are just tuning in, I hope you will jump back on later and catch the beginning of the show with Miss Kelly Wagner. And she is, among many things, the owner of the Edge magazine. So if you missed that before, you were supposed to have already subscribed. And so I do want to jump in. I see Diana, good morning. But Danny had a question, and he was asking, how do you submit to write an article for the Edge? Or how does that work if you're looking to collaborate?
Oh my gosh, I love it. And honestly, I love it. Go to edgemagazine.net, and at the top bar, it says submit an article, and you just click on there and get your article in. It's amazing. Or my email address is Kelly, Kelly, at edgemagazine.net. Just say you saw me here and you'd love to submit something and we'll start chatting.
Awesome. So get typing, Danny. Get typing. Yeah.
Oh, and we're always looking for a wide range of topics.
I love that.
See the stuff that we receive.
Well, and I just love how inclusive
you
guys
try.
are.
We are, really, right? Okay, wait, I have to back up. This weekend, Holistic Health and Wellness Fair in Eau Claire, 10 to 5. The UW Eau Claire Davies Center at 77 Roosevelt Avenue in Eau Claire.
Perfect.
10 to 5, $5 to get in. Blow your mind.
Awesome. You're gonna have to let me know when you're in the area so I can pop down.
We could have fun together because we
should. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Do you think? I don't know if a space could handle us together, Kelly.
Oh yeah, we'd have fun. Well, I'm already seeing that. So I mean, we should do this more often. This is fun.
This is fun. Anytime.
You're really sparkly. I love your energy.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you're totally fun. And you're open and you're grateful. That's one thing that I like when I'm seeing. You're very, very grateful. And let's do a little call out to Todd, because Todd's just I love his platform. I love what you guys are doing. I'm just so excited to be a part of it, and I just would love to dive in deeper.
Yeah, I think great things will come from this, Kelly. Great things. So we've kind of filled everybody in about the magazine, but okay, so tell us more about why serving spirit or working within your abilities became so important for you to make that a platform to be able to reach people.
Because I was making a lot of money and I couldn't find the words, right?
Right.
It was like I was pushed off a cliff. Like seriously, that's my husband's, and what's really funny is my husband's a graphic designer and a web designer, and I just want to put a call out to my beautiful partner in crime, Steve Wagner, because I couldn't do it without him. He is a beautiful soul, and I can't even just say like he's just this man, because he's not. He's my everything. And we were the couple that didn't want kids.
Right.
Like,
I get that.
and universe went, ha ha.
Yes.
Right. And so we were together 10 years, and then all of a sudden we went down to Mexico and came home with James. I know he's just lovely. And my husband's an artist, and our kids are artists, and then I have Brinley, who came 5 years later, very, very unannounced. Like, hello, like it was universe, right? I actually had a healer one time said to me that because I'm kind of a chubby girl and I have a tummy. Oh yeah, it's all good. And he looked at me, he's like, this is never going to go away, because you have a line out the door up there of all these souls that want to come in through you, because what you're doing and how you live and what you're going to be doing is the new way.
Right.
And I'm like, no. I barely can get up and do like, I barely put on clothes every day. I can't be somebody's parent. Right. But our kids get to grow into this. And my daughter is like a totally energy, like she does energy work, and she's 11. She's an artist. My son, our family is growing up in this, and I'm blessed to be raising our children in this. But then also I want to put a little call out to those who are on this. I don't want to use the word awakening, because everyone is, but they're kind of doing that, and they're alone. Right.
Yes.
And their partner or their family doesn't believe them in their gifts and abilities as they're exploring them. I am grounded with a beautiful partner who's like, let's go do this. Whatever you got to do, and we'll do it together. Yes. And there's a lot of people that I meet that are like, they seek out, they're like dry sponges.
I agree.
Like, oh, and I'm so blessed to have my partner in crime who's like, we got this.
Yep. No, my husband too. And
oh, isn't it just yummy?
To just have, and we are both very logically minded. So it's kind of funny that, because I am very logical. I am very like, if you'd be like, oh, Steph, I got, my house is haunted, I got all this going on, and I'd be like, but do you? Because I am very skeptical, and I have to have the experiences to understand or connect with that energy to understand. And so it's funny because, and then I go from being very logical to walking around an antique store and being like, no, not today. And my husband will be like, who are you talking to? I'm like, oh, that was out loud. I'm sorry.
Can you handle antique stores? I walk in and I'm just like, ooh.
I'm better as long as I don't touch anything.
Good job.
Yeah. So I've gotten better at setting my boundaries, but I'm very careful what I touch.
Well, I was in an antique store in Key West, and I walked through the door and I was like, ooh. But then what I got was that a lot of these antiques were surrendered, not because of choice.
Yes. And I'll say
that
like
that sadness around
yes. And my husband will be like, I'll be like, I need this. And he'll be like, why? I'm like, because it's sad. I don't really want it, but it's sad. And he's like, you got to learn to just listen to the story and not bring everything home. So
that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank your husband for that, because I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
You can't adopt all the puppies.
No, even though you want to. And even though they come in beautiful curio size.
Yeah. Oh, I totally get it.
But
I started making crystal jewelry because I couldn't wear anybody else's.
Really?
Right? I just started, they're workhorses. They're nothing fancy or pretty, but I go find the crystals that I need for that day, and I string them, and I took a class, and I'm like, oh, that's great. And it feels good, and it's grounding, and people, the other day I was on a call, and the lady looked at them and wanted it, and I gave it to her, and she's like, holy cow, this is crazy. I'm like, yeah, I made it.
Yeah, isn't it when that intention is there though, right? That makes a big difference. And it's pure intention.
Oh yeah.
I just I'm not knocking people that make jewelry or anything like that, but I think when you're doing it more personally, when it's something that it's just, I don't know, it just resonates different sometimes.
Well, you can take about anything and make it magical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, we should do that. We should do a show on that first.
We could write it down. Things for Steph and Kelly to talk about next month. You guys are gonna get sick of us. I think we got a thing going on here.
Yeah, we do. I love it.
So speaking of, you had brought up having children, and not so much your children specifically, but advocating for kids with abilities.
Yeah. So we're going to start a new column, the Kids Corner, because, and this is something that's actually in my business plan, but I just haven't had the capacity to do it. So first of all, there's no books on how to raise children that are born right now. They're different.
No,
they are different.
They are different. Yes.
And they're gifted. And I watched my 11-year-old. So my daughter, when she was born in 19 minutes after getting to the hospital, I was on all fours. That sounds horrible, but I was rolled in the gurney because it was a crazy time. The doctor didn't show up. The midwife didn't show up, but my doula was there. And I just remember looking down. I was doing down dog, and I just remember looking to my left to go, "Where's my IV?" Because all I wanted was to drive. I was not looking for a gold star to give birth naturally. Whatever, right?
Yep.
So I'm looking over. They check me, and then the room gets really quiet, and they're like, "She's 10 plus 2," and I didn't know what that meant. So then my doula, by the way, Sarah Longacre from Bluma, comes over and she's like, "Kelly, I love this stuff. You just start pushing. You got it." And I'm like, and then I hear nurses going, "No, no," and they're all panicking. So she's born. I can't believe she didn't hit the back wall. But my daughter, no lie, did an up dog on my chest right after she was born, and she was like, "I'm ready to go."
Yeah.
We had our chiropractor, Dr. Marcia Kruger. She grabbed her and adjusted her right away, and Brinley just went like this, and she was like, "Okay, what are we doing?" I'm good. I'm good. Let's go. I'm like, okay. And I think she's been on a race to grow up. I think she's 16 and she's 11.
See that. I see that with some of these kids. Absolutely.
And they want to have discussions, and they don't understand the hierarchy.
No.
They are they want to be a part of the family. They want to be a decision maker. They want to understand why. Why are we doing this? I think technology is I kind of want to take phones sometimes and throw them out and
I get that. We're inundated with too much of the wrong kind of information.
Right. That's a little frustrating. Yeah. But they're coming into their gifts and abilities, and they're here to teach us. They really are. We are the ones with the machetes. They're the ones. Right. We cleared the path for them so they can come in and just
exactly.
And I promise.
It is. And I think about my youngest child. They are.
How old are your kids?
My oldest is 13, and then I have a 10-year-old.
Oh, okay.
And my 10-year-old though is like an 80-year-old man stuck in this little body, and the big emotions, the big thought processes that just blow you away. And then I look at my 13-year-old who they started wrestling in 4YK, and this was before I really was working with any of my abilities. I was still really in the broom closet, but we would do energy work mat side before they would go out to wrestle. And I'd be like, what color's the energy? Let's work it into a ball. Let's, and that is all things that really work for them. And so it's interesting how that combination, because I was the same way. I mean, I never even planned to get married. I was just like, I'm just going to do this. And then, along came my husband, and I felt like I knew him forever. And that's a whole nother story for a different show. But it's these things then that just kind of start instinctively as we're building the relationships, whether it's with our children and helping them work through things that, looking back now, I'm like, where did I even get working with a ball of energy to help them control their energy? So it's just interesting how these things come in and lead to bigger things.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm not a practitioner, but dealing with autistic children,
right?
At wherever they are on the spectrum, and I truly believe they're high vibrational souls coming in. Going,
oh gosh, yes.
What?
Yeah. This is fucked up. I'm done. Absolutely. I work within the public school setting, and I work one-on-one with a special education kid, and same thing. This kid is brilliant. I mean, I can feel the energy and the knowledge that vibrates within this child, and everybody else sees them as broken.
Oh yeah.
you know, it just, it breaks my heart.
He's just, I mean, where we were before we're here. I mean,
Yeah.
this is so dense. This is
Yes.
so restricting. There's so many
Yes.
rules. There's
Oh,
fear.
yeah.
There's mind. There's all this stuff, and I mean, I could just see this. I could dial in with that little kid, and yeah, he's just like, oh, ugh.
Right. Right. You know, it's like, I feel bad because when I agreed to go back, my husband and I had worked out where I could really focus on my abilities. I could take that step out of mainstream and what I was doing. I hated it. I was a numbers person. It paid the bills. It was very worthwhile monetary wise,
Right?
but not me wise. And so we had made some changes so I could step away. And I took a year and really focused on growing my abilities and developing. But I missed working with kids, you know,
sure.
and so it's like that pull of advocating, whether it's kids with abilities or these helping these kids process through things, which is one thing I think that really clicked for us when we first talked, was the advocation for children.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me about, as you were coming into your gifts and abilities, what did you do to, who did you mentor under? What classes did you take? Like, how did you start? Because I have a feeling there's in your audience, in your beautiful audience, there's a lot of curious people. So absolutely. I'm full of resources, but so are you. So what did you do?
I actually, you know, I went to a fair, right? There was a fair in town. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go. And so I went with somebody and I went to a Reiki practitioner and I'm like, what do I got to lose? I'll pay a couple bucks. I'll try Reiki, you know? And honestly, that it was so hard for me to move out of that skeptical mind. And the Reiki practitioner that was working on me, he was very, like, his releases were very physical. So it was like the twitching or, you know, the noises. And I'm like, no, I didn't feel any different. Right. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, this is whatever. The next day, it was life-changing. And I'm like, oh shit, like, what is this? You know, I was like the Energizer Bunny. Yeah. And when I had been at the fair, I actually sat down. She's a fellow host with Diet Renee. She was doing one of the speaking things, and I sat down with a reading for her, and she had talked about having classes coming up. And honestly, I paid for a reading just to find out if she was full of crap, because, you know, it's like I had to know. And she was very accurate, you know, and we just clicked. And so she was my first mentor. She offered classes all the way from beginners through certification. So I did all of her classes. I've mentored under Maria Celeste. I've done some classes with Andy Bing. And so it's just wanting that knowledge. You know, I'm constantly, if I can't find somebody that I can verify is upstanding within the community, I'm looking for resources. I'm on Udemy, which is kind of hit or miss, but there's some good things on there, and looking for resources like your magazine. And so just trying to find anything where I can continue to educate myself and grow.
Sharpen your tools.
Yes, absolutely.
I describe it as so I'm not into sports, like, shocker. But on a football team.
Right.
Right. I know you're in the motherland of Wisconsin, and
go Pack.
Well,
and I have two boys, so I am right now I'm knee deep in basketball season, and I am an assistant coach for wrestling. So I'm like,
okay, yeah, you're into sports. Okay, I
wouldn't say I'm into them by choice.
You're orbiting around it,
right?
So a football team can't all have quarterbacks and kickers,
right?
And we need to have a bunch of different people on our team.
Absolutely.
And I find historically, when people find, call it a guru, call it whatever you want to, and they want you to be a part of their, like, cool. But I'm the type of person that'll pop in for a class and I'll be like, does that, and then I'll pop out.
Yes.
Right. And I'll be like, ooh, that was a great learning over here. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to learn over here. So what I would encourage people to do is, and I'm not trying to sound stupid, but seriously be curious. And if you're with someone that's a thought leader and that's seen as a thought leader, but your gut's just kind of like this, and you're like, take the class, have the experience and then go,
Right.
thank you, that was fun, and then
I
move
agree.
on and just keep, because you'll know when you're with someone and it'll just feel yummy and it'll feel
Absolutely. It
right?
clicks.
It'll
It meshes.
click,
Yes.
right? But even like your first experience, I see that person basically, like, I don't know why I'm seeing this picture, but it was like you had some scabs and they just kind of opened up the scabs and then
Right.
the next day everything was wide open and the light was able to shine in and you're like,
Yes.
ooh. So also know that those situations do happen
Absolutely.
as well. But to be safe and to be
Right.
safe and to trust your gut and just to be you'll know.
Absolutely.
Like, right?
Yeah. And I think
You'll
that
know.
that biggest part, like you said, is making sure it resonates with you, because in any field, it doesn't have to be the metaphysical field. Any field, you have people who shouldn't be doing what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And and that's my biggest thing, especially when advocating for kids. You know, as adults, I kind of look at it like, well, we should know better. We should trust our intuition. But in advocating for kids, I just don't want them to have that experience where they finally trust somebody and then it's such a negative experience that they close back up.
Absolutely. Safe space, right?
Yes.
Well, and we should, I feel, as parents, as adults, create a safe space for kids to be able to be curious and
Absolutely.
not to shut them down and to go like that. And like even with my daughter, if I don't know what's going on, I'll be like, well, I can at least research it.
Yeah.
And I don't just say, no, I'm your mom. Well, sometimes I do that. But
Right.
There's,
but I get
I'm
that.
a lot more, right?
Having a teen, I get that. Yeah.
Right.
I know.
And it's hard, right?
It is.
It's a challenge. And you know, something, and I think this will resonate with you. Something I've recently started to say to the kids is channeling.
Yeah.
We're only kids that are a couple years older than you.
Yes.
We're only a little bit more around the block than you are.
Absolutely.
I think we put historically
our
parents, right?
Yeah.
But we put our parents in this box of all knowing and I think it gives us compassion for our parents. Like,
right.
They might have been just doing the best they can with the tools they had.
Oh yeah, for
rather
sure.
Than I wanted the Norman Rockwell and they didn't give it to me and I didn't get this and this and this and I'm mad. Well, maybe our parents are doing the best they can, and
Absolutely.
we're doing the best we can. And again, we're just a little older. Like I tell my
are.
daughter all the time, I barely can get up and to get my stuff together and a cup of coffee and a pen. Like
I know. My son and I had this conversation actually just the other day, and I said, I know as a parent, I've made mistakes. Yep. I'm not a perfect mom. And especially with them being the oldest, I said, we kind of grew up together. I was learning how to be a mom.
Right.
You know, and you grow so much together, and it's about creating that safe space. But also as a mom, there are times I've gone back to my kids and been like, you're right.
Yeah.
Shit. I hate to say it, but I messed up or I was wrong.
I think it's very important for parents to do that.
It is.
In the right time, in the right space.
Absolutely.
To say, and to be vulnerable and be like, okay, do you have a better idea? Like,
yes.
I think that's another thing that we can help with our kids that our parents didn't do and their parents didn't do.
Right.
That we can be like, okay, let's talk about this.
Absolutely. Right? Communication. And yes, we might be upset. And I tell my kids all the time, there will be times you'll do something, we'll be upset, but there's nothing we can't sit down and talk through.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah.
But on that note, we're going to take one more station break. When we come back, I'll tell you what we have coming up on the show, what's going on with me. And then Kelly is going to stick around and help us give you some inspiration for the week ahead. So we'll see you in just a minute.
The Body Code is a revolutionary method of energetic healing developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson, which allows us to quickly and easily identify specific imbalances that seem to underline chronic ill health, acute and chronic pain, and discomfort, dysfunction, and stress. Ellie energetically connects with the subconscious of the client. Psychic medium Ellie Weisensell is a medical intuitive and energy healer, and a certified body code practitioner. She identifies and clears energetic imbalances within the body and energy field. Contact Ellie at the website below, and Ellie can work remotely from a distance, by phone, online, video chat. There's no need to travel to an office. Remember, the body code is safe for humans and animals. Contact Ellie today.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Chat with Charlie on WLTK-DB Let's Talk Radio. It's 50 past the hour, and you are just catching the last 10 minutes of our show. So if you missed today's show, please hop on Podbean, check it out. There's lots of other ways to find what you're missing, catch up on old episodes. Definitely check out the Edge magazine, subscribe to that. Lots of great resources that Miss Kelly is bringing to the world. The space around us.
Here, there, and everywhere.
Yes, absolutely. It's all out there. Coming up here next week, we will have Dr. Gala joining us. So please tune in. I think you will really enjoy her. Also, if you are still interested, Ellie Weisensell, who you just saw the commercial and advertisement for, her and I are hosting a class on divination and clearing negative energy this Saturday. So ticket sales have closed, but if you're interested, feel free to email myself or Ellie and we can get you in. We still have a couple spots left in the show, so please feel free to reach out to us. So Miss Kelly, before we do any inspiration, do you have anything else to add?
I want to come to your divination. I think that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's actually, Todd is hosting it, so we're going to be doing it through StreamYard. It's 10 to 4. This Saturday, but you're going to be in Eau Claire.
I know. But maybe I could teleport back and forth. And
you could just be like
my energy. I'm trained in a clearing spaces, and we put a crystal grid, and it's one of the different things I play with. So I love experience. Kind of talking about what we talked about earlier in the show. Just because you have, you have your tool, but I love playing with other tools. I'm really into smelly markers.
I love it. I like smelly stickers, so I get it.
Okay, so sorry. That is nothing to do with the show. Anything else? Edgemagazine.net. I love it. It comes out of my pores. I work 24 hours a day because I love what we're doing. Right?
Absolutely.
I think you can tell. This weekend, come check us out at Holistic Healing Wellness Fair. Terry Peterson and I at Rooted. It is at UW Eau Claire Davies Center, 77 Roosevelt Avenue in Eau Claire, 10 to 5. Lots of beautiful people there.
Yes.
I didn't think I was going to promote that, but yes, let's bring it on.
Absolutely. And like you said, there's so many resources there. I know because I do a lot of soul and synergy events when I'm not at a sporting event. Are they? I just love them. They're like my family. I do. I really have a soft spot for them. But I will go and, people will walk in the door and they'll walk right over to me. And I'm always like, go walk around, feel it out. Not that I don't want you to sit down with me, but see what resonates. Don't just walk up to the first reader you see. Make sure it feels right. Because there's so many resources at those events.
I tell people when I'm there, and this is what I do, I walk the room and I do that. And then I come back and to the people in the booth that I'm curious about. And I would say that's the best way to do it.
Absolutely.
Right?
You got to feel out the space, feel out that resonation.
Because you might need some crystals, and you might need this.
Oh gosh, I always need something. Whenever I go, I always need something. A complete story for another show, but I have to tell you the time that I was at Soul and Synergy event and trapped something in a piece of amber. So there's that. Because I was borrowing it to put it on my desk. It's a long story, but very fun.
Gosh, I love those kind of stories. Okay, that's another time.
Yes, another time.
We're on our show. We're being professional.
Yes, we got about 5 minutes to deliver some insight to our viewers. So if you guys are out there, you're looking for something that you've needed guidance on, or you just need clarity on, I don't know how Kelly does it. Usually I'll just pull a couple cards. And actually I pulled 3 cards, so you could pick anywhere from 1 to 3 or however.
That's fantastic. You go. I'm excited to add color on this. I would have prepared. I have all these new Oracle and Tarot decks.
Just go grab one.
No, I no, because you know what? I have 30 decks and I don't know when. I don't know what to do.
You know what's funny is today I do have I'm using Rebecca Campbell's Oracle card deck. work your light, it was the first deck that I ever used when I got into this, when I was still convinced, like, if I touched the Oracle deck, the good Lord would like break my hand or something horrible would happen to me.
Yeah.
But it's not my favorite deck anymore. And so I haven't used it for a while. But what's interesting is when I went in my cupboard today, this is what came out.
You?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
All right.
It was funny. After I said no, all the decks were like, "What?"
See?
Right?
You can't be leaving them out.
So how about this? You pull a card and I'll pull a card and we'll just see what happens with it. This
Perfect.
is the Empath Oracle card deck. Art by Constantine Bach. This is by Llewellyn.
I love it. That's a beautiful
deck. It's a beautiful box. It's a beautiful deck. It feels great. Okay, so what are we asking?
All right. So we're just asking for anything our viewers might need to hear or might need support in. That's what I focus on when I shuffle my deck.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so while Kelly gets situated, I'll give you guys my first card that I pulled for everybody. And actually it was inverted, the inverted priestess card.
Ooh.
And this card to me really talks about, are you listening? And with it being inverted, I feel like that's a clear no, you're not listening to your intuition. You're not listening to the signs that are coming in. What are you either intentionally or unintentionally avoiding that you're not stepping up to? You're not taking your place where spirit needs you to take your place. It's almost like you're fighting that system. It also talks about, are you self-honoring? Are you honoring yourself?
You should see the card that I just got.
Oh man, you can't make this stuff up, people. You can't make this stuff up. So if you picked card number 1, know that spirit is kind of calling you to task. What are you not listening to them? You're ignoring the signs. And are you doing any of that self-care? Are you on more than self-care? Are you honoring? That's what I hear. Are you honoring yourself? All right, Kelly.
This is questioning the darkest thoughts.
That's a beautiful card.
It is a beautiful card. Taking a step back from negative and self-destructive thoughts, choosing to be in the present moment rather than the past or future, and remembering that all thoughts and emotions are subject to change. We can't make that up.
Right. Come on, people. You can't make that up.
Okay.
Are you guys listening? All right. Card number 2. Also, again, I gotta interrupt myself because I laugh because Jackie commented, still ignoring that spirit told me card number 1 was mine today. I love it.
La 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 la
right?
la la.
Yes. I can't hear you. So this card number 2, again inverted, talks about, they call it trusting the niggle, but it's trusting that gut feeling. It's trusting that intuition. If you picked card number 2, spirits, you're not trusting. You might say that you're trusting. You might be like, yes, I'm doing. But when they say trust, spirit, and I've been through this, people, I get it. You don't trust with one step. Trust is you are all in or you are not. There's no part way with the trust. And so if you got card number 2, are you trusting the gut feeling? Are you trusting the intuition? Are you trusting that bond and those messages coming through to you from spirit? And if you think you are, look at that relationship, because I think it's time to develop that a little bit deeper.
My card 2 is breaking the chain of repeating cycles. Meditating on life experiences that seem to repeat in different forms, creating change with a humble approach, starting with ourselves, coming to terms with karma as an evolutionary spiritual force.
I love it. I gotta laugh. So Diana says, well, I feel singled out. You gotta love when spirit's very pinpointed to us. So
absolutely.
All right, the last card that I got today is take a break. Take a break. Now, when, a lot of times people say, I need to take a break. And they think that means no work is done within a break. But a lot of work happens in those quiet moments. And so how I'm interpreting this card today, if you picked number 3, is spirit's coming in and saying, take a break. But it's taking a break from the things that are distracting you, taking a break from the things that are not aligning you. And I'm getting goosebumps, not aligning you within, I see your face. The card's got to be pretty interesting. Not aligning you with these things that you need to be doing. And when you take that break, that doesn't mean you're shutting down. It doesn't mean you're sitting there going, well, Spirit said I'm going to take a break. I'm going to kick my feet up. I'm going to turn on the TV. I'm going to have a beer and relax. No. Close out the bullshit, excuse the language, but let in what they're telling you. Let yourself work within that rest, because you don't have the distraction of the craziness. So take that break from the craziness, but allow yourself to still create, allow yourself to still develop that intuition and put yourself in alignment of where you need to go.
Well, it's like people say that the best ideas sometimes come in the shower. What are you doing in the shower?
That happens to me all the time.
All the time. Like right?
When I was first getting into my abilities, I can't tell you how many times I'd be in the shower and then everybody's talking to me. And I'm like, really? Like, I just want to wash my hair.
Oh, yeah. I was in Vegas recently, and I had to take 5 showers a day just to kind of...
Right.
Okay, my third card is experiencing the reality of change. Understanding that, and I feel that this card is supposed to just be an add-on to what you just said.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Understanding that nothing in the world will last forever. Approaching life with a sense of curiosity instead of dread. And celebrating that we can create a positive echo or ripple in the world.
I love it. Look at
that.
that.
So if you take that pause,
yes,
you can have that. So I really felt those last 2 cards
absolutely
were just like, they're like little twins.
And I love how it's create a positive ripple, right? Because as light workers, as those of us that are trying to not just educate ourselves within this established system, but educate ourselves within all these ideologies, be a positive ripple, right? Just be a good person.
Right?
Yeah.
Smile at a stranger. It's okay.
Yes. Yeah. They're not, I smiled at somebody as at an orthodontist appointment the other day, and we didn't have to actually wear masks in there. So you could see people. And the lady actually came back in and thanked me for smiling and making eye contact with her. I mean, we're all connected, and we need to start treating. Yeah. Courtney's right. Don't be an asshole. We all need to just remember that we're connected, that we're one. So, Kelly, thank you so much. I hope we can do this again. This was so much fun having you here, and I look forward to seeing where all of this kind of develops in the future.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
thank you.
It
was fantastic. It just flew by. I love that.
It did. It flew by. It felt natural. And I wish you, hope you have so much fun. If you guys are in the Eau Claire area this weekend, stop in and make sure you say hi to Kelly. Let her know you saw her here and give her a big old hug. So,
fantastic.
All right, everybody. Thank
Hugs
you.
I will free.
Yes, hugs are free. I love it. And I will see everybody here next Thursday. Have a great week.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.